Hey Jenny, what's so great about beer?
Beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. Welcome. You are listening to Beer Talk Radio, the only craft beer podcast in the business section. I am your host, Jenny the Greek, the queen of beers, la reina de cerveza, the Khaleesi of craft, the Bourdain of brews, the Cardi B of ABV, pourer of pilsners, and lover of local dives. Make sure to visit the Beer Talk Radio website at www.beertalkradio.net. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please send me an email, jenny@beertalkradio.net. And if you're a fan, you can be on the show as well. Just click the link in my show notes, leave me a voicemail, and I'll put you on the following episode. Let's drink.
Yes, everything's nice.
Yes. How are we doing? Frolic in the house. It's actually funny because there's a gay club in SF called FROLIC or the FROLIC, and people have looked for us and found this gay club. It was like,
Only in San Francisco, right?
a little bit, but it's fun.
So do you have a big gay following?
Not yet, but these miscommunications on search engines keep happening. It might happen.
Well, it's nice to have you on the show finally, Zack. Zack and I met a couple months back. You had just started at the Oakland A's, and I was staging there. So I met him staging for the Oakland A's.
Yeah, I actually just got a new position, stocking the main kitchen. Just kind of helping out wherever I can. Orders come in, put it away. But yeah, I saw you admiring all the beer around the Coliseum, walking around like, ooh, that's really nice.
Congratulations on the promotion. I don't know how we got. Okay, so after my last day there, when I knew it wasn't going to work out, I gave you my Instagram, or you gave me yours, or whatever. And is it through Instagram that you realized I was into beer? Besides the incident that you described?
Yeah, pretty much Instagram kind of let it all out there. You like craft beer and like that, and it's dope. A lot of people like craft beer. Yeah, the metal community definitely enjoys their finer beers. Their triple IPAs, doubles, stouts, Belgiums. And, I think it's good that you are representing a community like that today.
Thank you, Zack. I appreciate that. So, Zack, you're a metalhead. Tell me about your band.
I'm in a band called FROLIC right now. Been playing a decent amount of shows lately. We do have an EP coming out very soon. We have shirts. A couple of the shows coming up are October 11th. We're playing in Toots Tavern, Crockett, California. Then October 18th, we'll be playing at Three Disciples Brewing in Santa Rosa. It's October 26th. We're playing in Ukiah. So any of our folks up north, come out. We'll have the information on our Instagram. Look up FROLIC Bay Area on IG, Facebook. Look up FROLIC. We are not the gentleman's club in the city. We are a thrash metal band. But we have some stuff coming up. We want to show you a little bit about it. See how you like it.
What instrument do you play?
I am the bassist.
Are you going to play the bass for us tonight?
Yes, I was thinking about having a little playthrough for one of our singles, a little sneak peek.
I would love that. Coming over, and we are here to taste some rock and roll metal collaborations. I'm ready. But before we get started, we got to talk about what you have on the table here. Can you tell me about these cans? See, I thought I was being all cute, like bringing you like the new Belching Beaver shit, and you're a Belching Beaver like connoisseur. So see what happens when you get arrogant? The beer queen can be wrong. Tell me about these bottles.
Well, a little bit about this. Me and the boys in Frolic have been on Phantom Bride for last couple of weeks. It's just a really nice, bright, hoppy kind of IPA. Kind of has that little bit of hazy feel. Just high citrus notes and very easy to drink. It's, this guy, this was a fun little experiment. A lot of times I'm guilty of choosing a bottle because I like how it looks on the outside, especially when it's etched like this. But this was a very interesting beer. It was the Combat Wombat by Rogue up in Oregon. A lot of times going up to see my family, we'll stop at the Rogue and get a couple beers to come down, something that looks interesting. This was a very tart, tangy kind of citrus beer where it was almost kind of a juice. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting. Not my favorite, but glad I got it.
We gotta do a close-up now.
Yeah, let them know.
Yeah,
see.
I would have definitely bought this as well.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. It's a little fucking wombat going ape shit. This one, another Belching Beaver. It was a little milk stout. I'm a sucker for milk stouts. I love.
Nice. Yes.
I love the more creamy kind of chocolate kind of taste you get out of them. But yeah, it's got this a couple years ago.
And Belching Beaver is blowing up because of their peanut butter milk stout.
Oh yes.
And now they're bringing these other products. Now they're bringing these other.
Yeah, they're having a good selection now.
I love a milk stout too. Milk stouts are great dessert beers, but they're also great good morning beers too.
Definitely. Nothing better than waking up to a milk stout with breakfast. This last one, again, I'm guilty. I just liked how it looked, but this one I actually really liked. It was a Belgian style triple ale from Asylum Left Coast Breweries.
Like Left Coast is like putting out like OG level perfect beers. They are so good. You know how many other brands and cans they have, bottles they have. But anyhow, that is cool as fuck. So Zack, we here. It's time. It's hot as fuck. I don't know what the temperature is, but it is time to go start drinking some beers. And since you love Belching Beaver, I'm going to say let's start. We probably, from like a tasting standpoint, we shouldn't start with Belching Beaver, but fuck it, we're going to start with Belching Beaver, and that's going to be the Deftones Mexican lager that they just came out with.
I'm excited.
Go, isn't that beautiful?
Bum.
The can is gorgeous. This is the Dia de los Deftones Mexican style lager with lime. And obviously proudly independent, Belching Beaver coming out of San Diego, blowing up like I don't know what everywhere. Like I discovered them in Vegas. And I don't know who the Deftones are. I'm just gonna be honest. I know. But I had the digital bath like 2 years ago. So I know them from the beers, and listen, I'm just going to be honest, but I obviously I did listen to several songs, and now I'm fucking in love. Like, I can't believe that wasn't my, okay, I was like a 9 Inch Nails girl. I was a Tool girl.
I didn't like punk and I didn't like metal. So we're going to do the best we can with this interview, but you're going to be impressed.
Don't worry, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so
Truth be told, I don't like a lot of punk either.
So this is just 5% lager with natural flavor added. Did drink the other 5 cans that came in the 6-pack. So I already have a head start, but I'm eager, and this is like the perfect weather to drink this can right now, but I'm eager to get into it.
Lager with lime. Nothing better in the summertime. Clear, golden,
Okay, so that is for you, Zach.
shimmering in the shaded ambient sunlight.
We're not going to taste. We're just going to drink everything.
Skull.
Oh, wow. Definitely.
You can smell the lime right away.
Salud. Yes.
That's good. It's a very good traditional Mexican lager with lime. I feel like it's a little bit lighter than the usual Corona or Modelo I would compare it to. Much better than Tecate.
This one, I love it. It's super tart, but it's not overly tart. Like it's not taking over like a sour. It's just a little like kind of I don't know, kind of pucker up your tongue. Yeah, little zap, as Zack says. It's super malty and is really full bodied, and obviously really carbonated. I love this beer, but I think that this is just a small criticism. I think that to a certain level, I can't tell if the limes are just really cheap limes or if they're a little bit artificial tasting. That's the only critique that I have. But it does taste, it says lager with natural flavor added. But, you know, food companies have been using the term natural flavor forever. So it can mean anything. It smells natural, it tastes natural, but I think there's just something slightly off about the lime flavor. You know, it's not a key lime flavor. It's not a Mexican lime flavor. It doesn't taste like lime that I've ever had in California. But I don't know. I didn't live in San Diego, so I don't know. Maybe they have different maybe they have different kinds of limes than in LA. But I think pretty much you get the same limes from everywhere.
No, I don't doubt that there's definitely
like there's almost a flavor to it that tastes a little teeny like 25% like Sprite. Yeah, or like a diet like a Sprite lime.
It just completely changed how I looked at this. Very Sprite-ish.
50% natural lime and 50% Sprite drops or something.
That's how I feel a lot of these flavored lagers and beers end up going. They end up being more of a pop and more than an actual beer with flavor. It becomes a little bit naturally, not even intentionally sweetened, and it could kind of change how someone approaches it. At least it did for me. I don't know. The first time I had it's delicious. Now I'd feel like I could take down like 8 of those just because it's got that soda pop
like you said, there was a lightness to it for sure. Okay, so you gotta finish yours. It is hot as fuck out here. Do you know what the temperature is? Too fucking hot. So we at least have to listen to a Deftones song a little bit. Let's do it. Okay, so shout out to Music Ale podcast for doing a digital bath episode. And because that was like the only IPA that I've ever truly liked, and the fact that I got to hear, like, I think my second Deftones song ever, but I probably heard more songs and didn't know who it was too. Like, you can't grow up in LA and not know who the Deftones are. I think it's saved. They have such an airy, beautiful, very like you said, very atmospheric, very ethereal. Yeah, they put you in an environment and it's a little bit scary, and I love it.
Kind of bring you to this whole other kind of way of feeling. And Deftones is just a very talented group of dudes. Knife party. Shout out to my drummer Eric. He's in love with the Deftones.
Cheers, Eric. that error. Every song is like desperation. Like you're at the end, you're ready. Like, and I love that about.
Yeah, they do a good job of kind of bringing terrible occurrences into like perspective. Like that's a very powerful tool to use when you're trying to reach as many people as they do end up reaching. So it's responsible of them. They're just really positive dudes, even though it sounds not so positive.
Yeah. Have you been to any Deftones concerts?
I actually have. I've been once out at Mountain View. Very powerful live performance. I'm a big fan of Stephen Carpenter. He's an amazing guitarist. Kind of does a whole bunch of crazy stuff that not a lot of people would have thought to do for a while. Deftones is dope. Not exactly what I listen to every day, but
well, I'm invested now. I'm invested now, and it's funny how drinking Phantom Bride never made me want to listen to the Deftones. Drinking Digital Bath never made me want to. And then their videos are so fucking like they're hot and they're weird.
Yeah, very trippy. Very interesting visual additions.
I think it is time for another beer. It's beer o'clock. It's beer o'clock. Okay, so you have I'm thinking since we just had that Mexican lager, we're a little bit soured out, so we can either change it up with something a little hoppier, or we can have the Sublime Mexican lager, because we have two hoppy options. That's a good idea. Okay, we're gonna layer out our hoppies and our lagers so we can give our taste buds a little refreshing in between. I'm gonna wash the glasses, get some water, and then I'm going to bring out the Iron Maiden. The Iron Maiden English Pale Ale. And it's so good. It's very, very good. I'll be right back. I'll wait till you exhale to tell you that I've never heard an Iron Maiden song in my life. I don't listen to metal. I listen to like Peter Gabriel and like 80s music, rock en español. Like I don't listen to metal. I'm sorry.
That's the oldest dad metal kind of band in existence. Like, you haven't heard Run to the Hills?
This is another collaboration created by Iron Maiden, Robinson's Trooper Premium British Beer, made in Cheshire, England. 4.7% ABV, charged with flavor. And does this artwork, is this like from either their logo or like an album?
This is actually from one of their songs called The Trooper, where they were talking about people going into war. So this is their mascot, actually. If you see that, this is Eddie. People who listen to metal will know that Eddie is their mascot that's been with them since day one, wearing 10,000 different costumes and promoting whatever the theme of their albums are. But this is a beer I've heard of for a long while. Trooper beer has eluded my grasp for the longest time.
Well, now you get to have it on Beer Talk Radio. Yes! And definitely keep the can. And you can get these at Bevmo. So I'm going to go buy like two more 6-packs just to keep them and give them out as gifts for like the metalheads that I know. And now I can sound more educated when they talk about Eddie. I'll know what it's about now. I'll know what it's about. Okay, this is a premium British beer, but let's see what it says on the can. Onward, rode the 600. The charge of the Light Brigade, which inspired the Iron Maiden song Trooper, took place at the Battle of Baklava, and not to be confused with the Turkish dessert. Baklava, 1854, during the Crimean War when 600 British cavalry courageously charged the massed Russian artillery. This gallant but foolhardy assault resulted in massive loss of life and came about due to a misunderstanding of an order given by the commandant Lord Raglan. Launched in 2013, Trooper, oh my God, this isn't new. Launched in 2013, Trooper is an award-winning premium British beer that has sold over 15 million pints worldwide. Iron Maiden vocalist Bruce Dickinson worked with the Robinsons to develop a beer which has true depth of character. Malt flavors and citric notes from a unique blend of Bobek, Goldings, and Cascade hops dominate this deep golden ale with a subtle hint of lemon. Woo! So we got something in the middle. We got a lemon English ale. Like, I know. So that's okay. That's going to ease us out of our Mexican lager Dia de los Deftones that we just had. Okay, good. Okay.
Nice how it has a little history lesson there, though, for you, too.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I swear, Bruce Dickinson is goals. He's 70. He flies the band around. He's a licensed pilot.
Nice.
He beat cancer. He's just one of those role models in the metal community that you don't come across too often.
That color is so copper gold. It's so beautiful. Yeah, caramel. It's even darker than copper.
Just a very nice, dark, golden caramel.
You can't see how gorgeous this is. This is like really, really, really almost borderline amber.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
And it smells just as good. I'm getting a little bit of floor. It smells delicious. I can't wait to taste this. It doesn't smell like it's going to be too bitter, though.
It smells like it just has that nice little hint, that little kick of a little bit of lemon. It does smell a little more lemony than the last one. I'm looking forward to it.
But like natural lemon.
Yeah, a little bit more kind of zingy.
Well, let's zing to the trooper. Cheers.
Skull.
Oh my God. The lemon starts off like you can taste the lemon in the beginning, but it really finishes with the lemon, but so gently, not tart at all. And I am getting a little bit of hop through. I would say this is probably like 20-30 IBU.
Very light, very smooth, very easy to sip. It's a great little session if you want a couple in the morning, like staying in for the day. Like, I could have a few of these, be able to do stuff in the later hours, but very, very easy going. That lemon is sticking with you for the ride, but just ever so lightly. It's not killing the entire flavor, but very light hop presence.
I'd say this is one of the more near perfect beers I think I've ever had in my life. Like, I'm going to go that far to say this. This is absolutely delicious. This is better than I even remember tasting it the first time. I think so I gave one to my boss. I drank one. I'm keeping one as a collector's item in my fridge, and then I brought this one for us to share today. I think this one tastes better the second time around because I just chugged it because I had gotten home and I was like pissed off and I needed Iron Maiden. I needed a beer and I needed Iron Maiden to like get me through. Like, I knew whatever it was going to get me through, and it totally got me through, but I didn't appreciate it then. I appreciate it now. This is really, really a superior body and mouthfeel. It's not heavy. It's like a nice medium, like meaty. It just coats your tongue, but it's not overwhelming. And there's no aftertaste to it either.
Like a lot of beers, like when they try to get all that creative with all this flavoring, like they'll misshoot it and like you'll end up tasting it like 3 beers afterward.
Right.
But this, you just get that nice little shot in there. And it's just a very smooth, nice beer.
this is a nice bourbon after work. Like that's the emotional experience that I'm having with drinking this right now. Ooh, like, yes, okay, I'm cool. Yeah, I can relax now.
Exactly. Don't bother me. I'm in my chair. That feel.
So let's play an Iron Maiden song. So I saw Eddie again on the album. Yeah, so Eddie's everywhere.
He's on every album, every t-shirt, every dang near every piece of merch that they own. That's who Iron Maiden is. That's their mascot. That's Eddie. He's been there since day one. This song, funny enough, it's a Die With Your Boots On by Iron Maiden. I used to play in a cover band when I was filling in for them on bass. I just remember playing and be like, dang, Steve Harris. He always had this way of making seemingly simple bass lines just awesome, and just like throwing his own stuff in there, like having little bass fills, but gave me a lot more respect for Steve Harris once I had to learn one of his songs.
I thought I wasn't going to understand the words. That's why I was scared to listen to it. I got scared. Eddie scared me.
Told you, it's old school dad metal. None of that scary Cookie Monster vocals from these guys. These guys are in their 70s. They're still touring. They're still playing the Oracle. I just worked their last show. Yeah. And I worked the one 2 years ago also. I got a shirt from both. Shout outs to my managers for making that happen.
Very 80s for sure.
That beer was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I hate how I'll look at a beer and then I'll get an idea in my head like, maybe it doesn't look too good. Alcohol levels low. I don't like those kind of beers, but it's like you're never going to know until you try. That's why I just got to keep on getting new beers. I have a little rule of thumb. I like to get a new beer if I'm going to go out and get beer. I need to go out there and see what's good and what's not. Speaking of which,
we're gonna lighten the mood, and then I'm gonna take it all the way fucking down. I'm gonna get us depressed for the first time on Beer Talk Radio history, but I'm gonna be really brief with it, and we're gonna keep drinking. And the next beer, we're gonna talk about a song and my experience the first time hearing a Sublime song. This story is gonna blow your fucking mind. Okay. So, back in the day, this is a little history lesson, kids. Ready? All right. Back in the day, there was a time where the only people who knew who Dr. Drew Pinsky was were people who lived in LA, because he had a show on K-Rock, which is our rock station, one of like 2 or 3 rock stations that we have in LA. And Loveline this is before MTV. This is before all the other reality shows that he's been on. This is before the fucking talk shows. This is before Dr. Drew was Dr. Drew. He used to be Dr. Drew Pinsky. And then he just became Dr. Drew because he got so famous, okay? That's how old I am. I'm an old fucking lady. Listen, Loveline at that time had a different, they originally had a different co-host, and his name was Ricky Rackman. This is before Adam Carolla. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this. This is before Adam Carolla. Ricky Rackman was an original like VJ on MTV. So he had a lot of experience in the early days, like the early 80s of broadcasting. He was very much ahead of his time, and he was a comedian. And so he did this show with Dr. Drew. When I was probably 11 or 12 years old, I used to listen to the show. It came on at 11. I used to wake up at 6 a.m. and just fucking go to school, because I lived like 3 blocks from my high school and my middle school and my elementary school. They were like all on the same street. Okay, so let me give you some context about what Loveline used to be like when it had Ricky Rackman on it. Okay, 90% of the phone calls were boys between the ages of 13 and maybe 28 who just had life questions or questions about women, like didn't know how to do this, so they would call, didn't know how to do certain acts, so they would call. And then, oh, I've got a bump on my dick, or, oh, my dick is itching. Like, what do I do? I'm 15. It was also life questions too. Like, sometimes people would call in with like questions about their parents, or they got traumatized because they saw their parents having sex or something weird, right? Or it would be like, oh, I cheated on my girlfriend. I feel guilty, but I want to tell her because it'll be over. And then that's my rent. You know what I mean? Like, men were very on. Like, I learned a lot about men and men's body parts from Loveline. But peep this out. Okay. So when I was younger and it had Ricky Rackman on it, those, like I said, those were 90% of the calls. But once in a while, there would be a phone call where someone was like about to kill themselves, or they got somebody pregnant and they've got serious life decisions. And this is back before teenage girls could get Plan B. You know what I mean? This was in like the 90s condom era. And, shit was kind of more serious back then, a little bit, or at least it feels like that more than today. I remember the only episode that I remember in its entirety was the episode where they had Sublime on the show. And the only song that they played throughout the whole interview was Date Rape. And I knew I was going to freak you out, but we're going to go there. We're going to go there. And the only song they played was Date Rape. And it was the first time I'd ever heard of Date Rape. It was the first time I've ever heard of the band. And it kind of traumatized me in a good way, because I was like, yeah, I better learn how to handle my liquor. It's scary. And I think it's one of the only songs that really brings attention to just how dangerous people can be. And it scared the shit out of me. Like, I don't know if it traumatized me. Like, the movie Kids traumatized me. The movie Kids really fucking traumatized me, but this song traumatized me too.
Our teacher showed us a clip of Kids. It was when the dude was bragging to his friend, like, yeah, man, I slid in there, man. He's like, how'd it smell, yo? Dude,
I remember that.
Dude runs his finger across his friend's nose, and the friend goes, butterscotch, yo.
Speaking of butterscotch, have we not found it? Butterscotch, literally butterscotch. This one is almost the same color as the Iron Maiden. It's gorgeous, but I think this one's a little lighter, a little more gold. We gotta sniff it. Oh, we gotta sniff it.
Butterscotch, yo. Butterscotch. Slight malty hits.
Malty as it should be. Is this another infused with some sort of citrus flavoring? Before we drink it though, Sublime Mexican lager. I don't think that this is a fruity fusion. Okay, so that's good because we need a break from it. How do SoCal's favorite reggae punk pioneers honor their iconic 40 ounces to freedom? They released their own beer, of course. In celebration of this, Sublime contacted AleSmith Brewing Company to craft this unique brew. As Mexican-style lagers are a favorite beer style of the band, AleSmith has brewed a beer that showcases a grainy, malt-forward, you caught the malt first, sweetness, and easy drinkability. Butterscotch. Lager, the go-to beer for hot summer days, the beach, your backyard barbecue, or backyard beer talk radio. Of course, before your favorite concert. Cheers. So also independent, and we got 5.2. Okay, so we're leveling up just a little bit. Cheers.
Skull.
Salud. It tastes like it looks, and it tastes like it smells. It's just pure sunshine, just like the can.
Makes me want some michelada cup. This would be perfect for micheladas. Oh, yeah. A little bit of tajin.
I could easily put like one little drop of Tabasco in this, and it would not reduce the quality of this beer. Once again, I feel like I'm having a different appreciation for it, because the first time I drank it, I kind of chugged. Right, like I can't.
I'm going to get home with my Mexican lager. I had a long day. I'm gonna chug that.
Yeah.
And you ease in, you get your regular IPA.
Get something else weird. Right?
Like some a little funky. And then you go into you know what my friend has been going crazy over? Is Therapist.
Oh yeah.
Therapist. Oh my God. I had it the other day. Like it was my first time having it. And it's a triple IPA, I think, but it's a 10.4. Yeah. It does not drink like a 10.4. It drinks like a 7. You can drink it easily, but then like a couple sips later, you're like, whoa. So it's a creeper, but it's some great beer.
What is your favorite Sublime song?
Kind of messed up. But it's between Date Rape and Ball and Chain.
And I was feeling all guilty because I had brought up Date Rape, and here it is, your one of 2 favorite songs.
It's a fucked up song, but it's got a really good groove to it. And I love the way that Bradley narrates in his songs. He's such a great storyteller, and we missed him. We lost him way too soon. I can't even take Sublime with Rome seriously. Like I'm sure Rome's an amazing singer, but it's just like it's like seeing Queen with Adam Lambert. I don't want to see Queen with Adam Lambert. I want to see Queen with Freddie Mercury. Journey's the one that I've seen like get away with it. That little Filipino dude is amazing. He's amazing. The bows at the end are hilarious because everyone's like 6'2", 6'3", and he's like 5'2".
Here we go, Ball and Chain.
I was always taught that boy meets girl, fall in love, get married, and forget the world. 9 months later, sweet baby's on the way. You kiss him on the cheek and life's okay. I don't feel no pain. I don't have no time to listen to conflicting points of view. Oh, it's a crazy world to live alone. A ball and chain I call my home. A banana.
Finish that when you're ready. And I feel like we should take a break before we get into the last one, because the last one is going to be the hoppiest. It is going to end our beer review tonight. Let's just say that the Metallica beer is great in a certain way and misleading in another. So we're going to get into that. We are going to get into that. This is going to be good because I actually get to give some input. I actually know. I've listened to Metallica. So, hey, yes. But I had the Pussiest album, of course. I don't even need to tell you what it was. No, not the Black Album. Load? Or is it Reload? It's Load. It's the latter one. So it's the one after they cut their hair and everyone said they sold out.
After a certain point, it's all just Metallica. Love them for what they started and what they have done for the thrash metal community out here, especially in San Francisco, because they really were the pioneers of this area, really starting that movement. And we're just here trying to pick up the pieces and keep it moving.
And Kirk Hammett is a Marin County guy.
You ever heard about his horror collection? Like he does some horror shows. Like he's a massive horror collector.
Yeah, he seems like he would be. All right. So, yeah, let's just kind of ease into the last one of the night. A surprisingly hoppy beer. Internight has entered. Now we're getting a little bit more into my territory here. Didn't know I really would like the Deftones as much as I did. Didn't know I really would love Iron Maiden as much as I did. So it's on. It's time to get started, to crank things up, to get loud. That thumping you feel in your chest isn't your imagination. It's your heart. It's life. It's the rockin' tunes. It's your inspiration wanting to break out. It ain't going to sit there waiting, so motherfuckers grab it. This is a collaboration in the truest sense between two entities that were born on the fringes. We've navigated life from a different perspective. We've imagined things differently from what they were and set about using our art to change the world according to our vision. We started being misunderstood by many and loved by few. Today, that's the same, but that few has become more, a lot more. That's you, my friend, and we're stoked you're with us on this journey. The day is winding down. It's time to get started. No more waiting. It's time to get loud. Exit line into night. So, okay. This is supposed to be a Pilsner, but I've had a teaser, so
I'm expecting.
we're gonna get a very honest critique right now. Oh yeah.
Seem a little happy.
You can fucking smell the hops 6 inches away.
It seems a lot more hoppy than I'd expect for a Pilsner, not an IPA. They use hops?
They're not admitting to it. This is not okay. All right, I'm gonna taste it now, just so you guys know. I know this ain't even close to a Pilsner. This is an American Pale Ale or a very mild IPA.
Now that I taste it, I don't taste the hops as much. I taste really bright, anything but hops. It smells of hops. I give it that. But the taste is not hops for me.
Really?
Hand to God.
Okay.
Very interesting.
This is the third one that I've had, and I taste hops in all of them. And I know the can is not oxidized, so it's not bitter from that at all. It looks like a beautiful Pilsner. It has that light, sorry to say it, like light pea color, almost platinum blonde color.
Not Bud Light, right? Gotta double check. It's not Bud Light. It has that very golden kind of consistency and look to it, but I'm tasting massive flavor coming from somewhere other than hops, and I'm wondering how they did it.
Okay, so that speaks to how people taste things differently. You are an avid IPA drinker. You talked about triple IPAs and people who drink those, and you've had them as well. I am the most anti-IPA. That's kind of my shtick in my shows, that I hate IPAs. I hate drinking them. Like I said, the only good one I ever had was Digital Bath by Belching Beaver. So you drink them more often, so maybe, I don't know, maybe you have a little bit of a resistance or something, or I don't know. But then I don't drink them at all. So let's say, for example, there is a probability that I don't taste hops and I'm tasting something else that's really earthy and pungent and astringent, that could be it too. So, that's cool. That's cool that we can have a difference because I think our palate has been very similar thus far. But yeah, it's cool that we can have, hey, we're still friends.
Of course. No use crying over spilled beer. But no, this is what we're here for, to compare and contrast different opinions on these magnificent beers by these magnificent bands. Yes. I gotta say, I do love is it Stone that they partnered with? Yes. Because I recognize the gargoyle. I love that guy. One of my favorite things is their arrogant bastards, how they talk shit to you on their own bottle. There's nothing more savage than that. I know. Selling people beer and calling them a piece of shit while you're doing it.
Some of us need that.
I need to be reminded.
Sometimes I get too big for my britches, and it's not because I'm eating too much. It's because I just, arrogant bastard. And girls can be arrogant bastards too, for sure. I know everybody knows at least one.
Of course, everyone's guilty of it. There is no innocent party on this earth. Everyone's guilty of something.
Okay, we got to listen to a Metallica song, and then we got to hear you play. Cliff Burton.
Yeah, Cliff Burton is a huge inspiration and a huge fixture in the Bay Area metal scene. I don't know if you know, but he actually went to Castor Valley High. He was a phenomenal bass player. He played with his fingers, which gets to be kind of rare in this kind of scene where you're trying to play as fast as possible. You can't really do that with your fingers. So a lot of people resort to a pick. He was one of the first people to incorporate distortion into his bass tone. He was just amazing. The way that Lars Ulrich and James Hetfield found him was when he was with his other band and playing the bass solo called Anesthesia that you can find on their earlier albums. He was just shredding away, and like no one thought that was possible for a bassist to do that. The bassists were always just supposed to lay in the background and never really kind of come out of their little hole. But he really changed that for a lot of metal bassists, especially when you think of how many bassists get mixed out of these heavier and heavier albums. It's harder and harder to find a way to stand out. But Cliff Burton serves as an inspiration every day. He died way too soon. Yeah, the man was like 27.
27. That is that fucking, but that number for them rock stars. Like, y'all better watch out. How old are you?
I just turned 26 on the 8th.
You're a Virgo? That's why I like you. I turned 38 on the 4th.
Word. Cheers to Robert Trujillo.
But I want to hear you play. I don't want to hear you just finger it. Yes. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. Good job. I love it. Thank you so much for being on Beer Talk Radio. Zack invited me to his house. He is in between work. He works very hard. Like, I've seen this boy in action, and this young man is like lifting boxes all fucking day long. Thank God he's tall so he can get him to the top rack. Only problem is all the cooks are short.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Beer Talk Radio. I am Zack with FROLIC. Make sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook. We will be having that EP coming out. We have shows on October 11th, 18th, and 26th. Please come out, check it out. Look forward to seeing y'all.
Thank you, Zack.
And that concludes this week's episode of Beer Talk Radio. If you enjoyed this episode, please comment and rate on iTunes, and that will help other people find the podcast. If you are interested in receiving one of my Street Team swag bags, please visit my website, www.beertalkradio.net. Enter your rapid fire questions and your name into the subscribe area, and I will send you one. If you're interested in being on the show, I'd be happy to put a clip of your voice and your commentary in the following episode by leaving a voicemail. The link to the voicemail is in the show notes. And if you have any questions for me or past guests, I'd be happy to get those answered for you. Send me an email at jenny@beertalkradio.net. Thanks for drinking with me, and have a good one.